skinned, and you'll study the musculature. But if they're not skinned, it's hard to separate the two, and we don't have time to go into the musculature anyway. So we're just going to look at the vital organs, and as we go through them, we'll look at form and function. So be thinking if you know what each of the vital organs are, you can help me identify them. I mean, I'll ask you, we'll see if you know, and what their function is, okay? So what do you think we'll see first when I first open it? What's the biggest organ that you see when you open up the abdominal cavity? No. The heart? No. Liver? Stomach? Liver.
Oh, I see it.
Okay, this is a lot of fat here. This cat is pregnant, and they put on extra layers of fat during pregnancy. Don't ever call a pregnant woman fat, though. That'd be in a world of hurt.
And don't have to do that.
Yeah, and don't do that either.
Is the baby still in it?
Yes. They'll be very small. They'll be very small. We will in a little bit. Okay, so first thing we're going to see here is the liver. What's the function of the liver?
Blood.
To make bile, to digest the food.
Okay, it holds the gallbladder in here that holds the bile. True, but it filters the blood. So let's look at a little section here of the liver, and you can look at it. Now these cats have also been double dyed, which means they've drained them of the blood and injected blue dye into their veins and red dye into their arteries. So if anybody, y'all took your gloves off. If you want to feel the texture of the liver, there it is. And then we're going to cut up here into its thoracic cavity.
Jurassic?
Thoracic.
Oh.
Chest cavity.
It's like Jurassic.
Yeah.
Like the rib cage.
Dinosaur cavity.
Okay, what's this muscle here? We talked about it yesterday.
Diaphragm.
Diaphragm. You said that without even looking, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's a sheet muscle, very tough, and it's going to pull down to create a cavity. I mean a vacuum space. Thank you. To allow air to rush in. What's on 3 lobes on this side, 2 lobes on this side? What is this organ? We looked at those. I showed you pig lungs, right?
Yep.
And what are the lungs filled with?
Air.
Air. What are the little things called?
Ravioli.
And see those? Did you see all the formaldehyde coming out of each alveoli? And you can feel that this is kind of a much more spongy, soft texture than this much firmer, dense filter. So it's a filter material, and this is more of a sponge to let air come in. So you can test the differences there. What's here?
Heart.
Well, yes, it's the heart. It's fat on top of the heart. Why would you have fat on top of your heart? Is that healthy?
Because people are fat.
Some of it, yes. You don't want your heart rubbing up against your sternum. It's right under the sternum. So you have a little cushion layer there, which is good. And I'm going to remove this.
Cut out its heart.
Pretty much.
It's open heart surgery.
Yeah.
In a hotel.
Okay, what are we seeing here?
What's the volunteer?
Like it did years ago.
How about you, Connor?
Okay, so there's the heart, and oh, look what I got.
What?
The
Red, blue.
part of the esophagus that would lead to the stomach musculature there. Are you wanting to picture that or not? Sometimes I'll get the trachea too. Here's the trachea. There's the trachea. And if you were to feel it, you can feel the tiny rings of cartilage that would hold it open.
Is that the
Trachea is going to be in front. Yeah, this is the heart. Trachea in front, and it would branch out into the lungs. And then the esophagus is behind it. You can't really tell the opening here as much as you can tell the opening here. It goes behind it. Or you could just remove it, and you may want some of the esophagus. And then here, which one would be blue? What's the major vein coming back into the heart? Remember, veins are blue.
Pulmonary vein.
Pulmonary vein is big, but superior and inferior vena cavas are big too. Oh, there's one. There's the inferior. And then the aorta coming out. You can't see it as well. It doesn't look as big, but it really is big. It would be red. Okay. Moving on. Diaphragm, liver, gallbladder. Pretty big in this particular cat. See this green sac here? Holding the bile. The green sac holding the bile there. Okay. And that was a weird squishing sound. Okay, some more liver has been pushed back here. You know when, no, y'all haven't experienced this, but when a female is pregnant, and this is pretty big pregnant because this is the uterus down here, vital organs get pushed into different places where they don't normally belong.
Oh,
so the liver shouldn't be that far back, but part of it is.
It's terrifying.
What's this?
Intestine.
Fat.
adipose tissue?
Yeah.
Squishy stuff.
Fat. Extra layer protecting the baby and all. Okay, so for the stomach, right here, kind of the same region it was in the frog and us, a little bit up under the liver just because of pregnancy here. And this is like a pouch. There is something kind of big in there. I guess I could cut it open. Usually it's totally mush. Let's see what this is. Might be a present. I don't know.
Got a little mouse in it.
Volume for this.
Let's see. Feels semi-firm if I can get into it. There's the musculature of the stomach. You can't really see the villi, they're small, but let's see what we got. Oh, just a wad of food.
That should
Oh,
stay
it could have
pretty
been
tight.
something. It's got hair on it, actually. Oh. Well, if we have time, we'll come back to that. Interesting. Okay, so stomach. And you can feel that some of this stuff, oh, I can probably squish that out too.
Right now.
Some more.
I'd be worried.
It's pretty gross. Okay, and then it goes into small intestine. The majority of this is small intestine. And then it will lead into the large intestine. And the large intestine encompasses it. We call it the colon. Ascending colon, transverse colon, and, well, it's squished in different places. Descending colon, which would normally be farther over here, but being pushed aside by the growing uterus, and then down into the rectum. Oh, while we're here, go ahead and show you this. What's back? We have 2 of them. And kidneys, yeah. It's in a little pocket, so I have to kind of cut it out. We're moving it. Look at that. Big, huge artery, renal arteries, or veins in this case, because they're blue. Take the fat away, and I'm going to take away this little protective, little thin sac. If I can peel it off, maybe.
That's the kidneys.
Kidney, this is one. And here we go. A little bit dirty, but there's a very blue kidney. Now, what do the kidneys do?
They clean the blood.
Clean the blood, right. Can't live without them. They're considered a vital organ. If they start failing, you can have dialysis. Remember dialysis tubing?